For these reasons, stray domestic animals can pose a danger.
Previously on Desperate Housewives.
Film projects that never actually came together or started but we didn't finish. Between me and Jim, we came up with at least 4 kind of projects just off the top of our head. Short film where we shot a good, I think 50% of it. Was called Fear Frantique, directed by myself. Some of the footage, I need to try to find it. It was shot on...
Have you still got it?
I mean, it's on the tapes.
Mini DV style.
Mini DV tapes somewhere. So proper SD. It was like a love letter to like the Danger Diabolic, the like, you know, the Italian super spy stuff of the 60s.
I think that was our first go at like getting some crazy gels on lights, wasn't it? And just like blowing up a room with radical kind of colours.
Taking the ordinary and smashing it against the extraordinary. And the whole thing behind it was like, if you get all these, you know, jewel thieves and, you know, master criminals who kind of rob from the rich and then give to the poor or whatever, then they're going to be living in a 3-bedroom terrace house.
Of course.
There was nothing else being made like that in South Wales anyway. We got loads of production art done. We shot some really, at the time, we thought was really good looking stuff. Probably, you know, still is. I mean, it's nice.
I'd be interested to look at it again, yeah.
It was the first time that me and Jim worked together on something that I was directing, because before you were co-editing.
That's right, yeah.
Godzilla, so it was the first time both of us on set on one of my films. The reason it all kind of fell apart was there was one location which was meant to be a record shop. And between securing the record shop, and they were so cool about it, it was Jungle Records in Bridgend. They were like, yeah, you can use the shop, no problem, I'll just hang around, no money at all. And there was a scene that was going to be set in like the stock room. And the original plan was I was just going to set dress a room in my house. But he was just like, oh yeah, no, I read the script, do you want to have a look at our stock room? It was perfect. There was a pool table in there, music posters just covering every single surface.
Nice.
And then 3 months later they went bust. So it was a mad scramble to try to find another location. I dealt with Spillers Records, but unfortunately recently they'd had the BBC shooting in there, so they were like, oh yeah.
£5 million, please.
£1,000 a day. I was just like, oh, okay. And this was, you know, coming out of my own pocket. We had no money, you know. I'd spent all the money on Mexican wrestling masks. Because, you know,
Are you intrigued by that, people?
Yeah, we'll drop in some stills and everything from the day and the production.
It's a damn shame because it was a fun project. I mean, you know, it was a good idea. It was looking good and all the rest of it.
But it was one of those things which kind of cemented, even though the film itself didn't come together, kind of cemented a lot of working relationships that we had. You know, Rose, again, she had a cameo in Godzilla that I was so impressed with her on that. She had the lead role in Fear Frantique, and we've worked with her time and time again after that. Kirk Moore, amazing actor, went off to New Zealand though, so again, that was kind of like killing that. He was fantastic as one of the Love Monkeys. So Frantique, played by Rose, she had like 3 henchmen. Love Monkeys. Kev Johnson, fantastic in that role as well, a lot of fun. And David Melkovic, bless him. Thanks, Dave.
We love Dave.
We had 3 cameras on that, do you remember? So we had Dave Morgan using my Sony.
Oh, yeah.
You came along with your Canon.
We never do that now, that's mental.
No. But the idea was, because a lot of it I wanted to tell in split screen.
Yeah, that was right, yeah.
That we were just kind of chopping up and short it. We had Laura there as well, so we were just filming all these like little inserts and stuff like that. So there was a bit where like the plan was going to be like kind of recounted over tape cassette. So we had all these close-ups of like, you know, the buttons being pushed in. I'll try to find the tapes.
Yeah.
We've then got to figure out how we
Interesting.
how we rip the tapes.
Yeah.
To be honest, most people were shooting on HD at this point, and we were still rattling around with SD cameras.
I spent so much on that camera, I refused to adjust.
Yeah. I mean, I've still got my Sony PD170, you know.
Sold mine, it's long gone.
Yeah. And then, yeah, I mean, Jimmy, you had another couple of shorts as well, which didn't come together.
Yeah, one called Dark Corners. Yeah.
Dark Corners. I remember reading.
Do you ever say it like you kind of look back at titles, you know, of films, like titles you chose, you think that sounds a bit fucking naff. I was never good at titling.
Right. Fear Frantique, Godzilla. No, I'm
Dark Corners.
My titling game is strong.
It's like a melodrama.
Dark Corners.
Yeah, which actually been taken now. So
Alone with the
Dead. That's my. I think I like that one the most. It was really long with the screaming. That was a good one.
Yeah, that doesn't really make sense.
So Dark Corners was based around a woman and her daughter, and she appears to be haunted by some entity within her home. But as it develops to be her actually going a bit insane, a bit crazy. So that's the kind of that's the story.
Spoilers.
So yeah, but it was a psychological kind of horror thriller kind of film. I had high hopes for it. I really wanted to make it. We did kind of get into pre-production. I was working with a producer at the time. We did some casting.
Oh, who was part of the
casting? I think we were casting Stacey Daly and Nathan Sussex to be in the film.
Stacey Daly. She gets around, doesn't you, Stace?
In London now, isn't she?
London
based.
You slags. Not you, Stacey. That's from what I understand what Londoners say as a term of affection.
I can't remember why that didn't go through. I think the steam just ran out. It just become flat. It wasn't any more communicating over it. Money is always an issue as well. I think sometimes these people often, sounds terrible about these people, but producers come on board, they have high hopes, they realise actually it's going to take a bit of time, a bit of effort, locations, and they go, I don't know. Or something else comes along and distracts them or whatever. But anyway, yeah, that didn't quite make it to screen, but you know. Who knows, one day I might just make it myself.
The James Morrissey film.
Alone with a screaming in a dark corner. What the fuck I'm on about?
I mean, it's just like a massive cry for help, isn't it? Run Rabbit Run.
Oh yeah, Run Rabbit Run, yeah.
That was a good little script.
Yeah, kind of like a Friday the 13th wrong turn-esque. Yeah, that kind of stuff. So taking, you know, the Run Rabbit, that kind of little tune, and kind of adapting that to a script.
Was that in the public domain?
I think it was actually. I was going to have like a theme, you know, based on the little tune Run Rabbit Run, and kind of incorporate that into it and try and create my own kind of Voorhees, but it was a deranged bunny weirdo.
Nice. Yeah, revisit that, mate. I think there's some mileage in that, you know, it's a catchy tune.
Exactly, that was...
Hopefully public domain. I mean, I've got a feeling...
Nobody sue me.
At the time, we probably just didn't give a fuck about public domain.
No.
It was just two characters, wasn't it, as well? Wasn't it just
there was... Oh, God, I can't remember. It was the guy, the killer... Oh. I think there was a couple of people at the end, but main roles was like too minimal. Yeah. Mainly set in the woods, and we needed some type of like rundown. I think that was causing the issue.
Location,
in fact, we went to. I did scout locations. We spoke to some guy. He was like a farmer guy. He had property. He had this outhouse, rundown building without a roof, and
every outhouse, hen house, and whorehouse.
Well, talking to this guy, and he apparently, because I asked him, you know, do a lot of people use this building? He goes, yeah, a lot of porn production companies come here to use it, and
what kind of porn is that?
It didn't look very. There was no furniture there. It was just like concrete walls, and there was no roof. So I mean, if it rains, you're really gonna get wet, more wet.
That's bad.
All these attempts to get projects off the ground. It's not wasted time because you are learning, even though you may have got so far in the production. You're still learning, you're still understanding, you're still gaining experience. Yeah. So yeah.
I mean, I think that's it. I mean, yeah, with Run Rabbit Run, yeah, the big challenge for that was the location, but then that kind of forced you to deal with people and locations and how to deal with people and, you know, kind of secure stuff for the best rate possible for the production and all that. Yeah. And that wasn't something that, you know, you'd had experience with before.
No, not at all.
Like Fear for Antique, for that, the great experience was just pushing how much we could actually kind of get this certain style. It was all about the visuals, really. I mean, it was a fun little plot. It was completely absurd, but it was really about trying to recreate this 60s Mario Bava kind of look with no money. I mean, just red gels, green gels all over the shop.
I think they had like early Sapphire Gen Art plugins where you can get like film grain and really old school.
Like
dirty cinema. I mean, I don't get hung up. Don't waste time dwelling. Oh, it could have been the best thing ever.
Yeah.
You know, move on.
Is there anything you would have done differently, like in terms of Run Rabbit Run?
I don't know, not really, because I mean, I'm not sure if it was money or lack of locations. I just got a bit fed up with looking and getting, you know, let down by locations. But
what about Dark Corners then? Anything on that you would do differently?
I think I would probably say to myself, just do it yourself, Jim. I think sometimes you don't need a producer. I don't think you should heavily rely on people to make it for you. That's not always. A lot of people are in this for themselves. Sometimes it's for money. Sometimes it's for personal gain. You know, if you can be in charge of your film.
Sometimes it's for the ladies.
Sometimes for the ladies.
Or the
men. You know.
I was going to say boys, but it should never be for the ladies.
So I think
I'm looking at you, and you know who I'm talking about.
The more you develop your skills in production, producing films, I think if you can do that and you're willing to do that, I think that's a bonus for you, and you will find yourself making more projects than not making.
Yeah, it was an interesting one. I never really kind of worked with a producer until Godzilla started getting developed, and then yes, later on reworked with other producers. Not entirely always successfully, I'd say. I think that goes back to my temperament of being a bit of a control freak. I suppose the only thing I'd do differently, say with Fear Antique, is I would schedule it really close together. Like, I think the reason Godzilla, which was my first shot in South Wales, the reason that kind of came together was I basically got everybody's availability over, I think it was like 3-4 days.
Yeah.
And I just said, look, we're gonna shoot these days, boom, and everybody was okay.
Yeah.
It's when you kind of you sort out one day and then you shoot it and da.
Yeah, there are different ways of doing it, and there are pros and cons of it. But I tend to think if you have a block, it seems like Alone with the Dead was a block, like Living Dead was a block.
Yeah.
And you
Little Monster was a series of blocks, but again, everybody's availability locked in.
Lock them in, the moment you kind of leave it up to the universe to decide whether or not they're coming back.
And it's difficult if people are just working for expenses. Say it's a short, and to be honest, for most actors, then that would just be showreel material. It's difficult to bring them back like later on. It's not impossible, and we've been lucky that we've worked with loads of really good actors. But things happen. Like Kirk Moore, really talented guy, he just went on the other side of the planet. It's like, Kirk, I paid for your bus fare, man. I can't pay for your flight. And it was, I suppose I could have recast and stuff like that. But other stuff started moving at that point. Then
I suppose as well, another thing we've learned is to adapt the script. If something's not working out, logistically, then see if you can kind of adapt a scene, maybe omit a location or change the location. Does it really affect the story? If not, then maybe do that. Don't get so obsessed with the script,
Definitely. I mean, and that's something, to be honest, I've only really started learning recently. I worked with Lucas on long shots, and there were a number of scenes where it was just going to be logistically difficult, not impossible, but difficult.
Yeah.
And we had only some actors for a short window, that's a small window of time. And so Lucas was kind of like, well, this scene doesn't need to be set here. And the scriptwriter coming to me and saying that kind of really opened it up for me. And the same, we had Vicky on pre-production for Little Monster, and she kind of like, tackled the opening scenes of the film and just said, look, this is going to be a nightmare logistically. What's the downside of saying it in a car?
And that's the thing.
And if anything, it kind of built it up. By sticking like one of the lead characters in a nice confined space or whatever, it built the tension.
I mean, I guarantee there's a lot of iconic scenes. There's a lot of really good films out there which we've all love, and I guarantee those productions there was some hiccups and scenes changed organically because of problems, and they turned out to be better scenes.
Yeah, absolutely. So don't be precious.
Yeah, don't be precious by yourself.
Don't be precious.
But don't be reckless either.
I'm not sure we're giving that advice. Go for it. Just don't endanger any lives.
Yeah.
Drop us some notes. Let us know about some projects that didn't come together for you, or if you've got a project at the moment where it's an absolute nightmare, or for whatever reason it's not coming together. Share your war stories. We're all grizzled veterans here.
We're all scarred.
Yeah.